It is the Chicago Podcast. I'm Brendan Greeley.
I headed straight down for Chicago. When I revved 294, I was thinking about your front yard and your face behind the door. And every page I leave unmarked is waiting for your picture. Every seat I sit beside, I feel like I am right here with you, babe. This is a crazy love. You better watch your mouth.
Here with Rudy Mendoza, Bilingual Improv School in Chicago. Rudy, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me, Brendan.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you. All right, so tell me about the Bilingual Improv School. Tell me what inspired you to start it here.
Yeah, so actually, our context is you took a level 1 class at CIC Theater.
Yes.
Not too far from here in Wrigleyville,
Yes.
Irving Park in Southport.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Had a great time. Loved your class.
Yeah.
Super memorable class. Great students.
Uh-huh.
Some of my favorite students I've worked with, including yourself.
Yeah.
With that silky, beautiful voice that you got there.
Thank you.
Who could forget it?
Thank you.
But, I've been teaching improv now for a while, coaching, teaching for probably 7-8 years.
Yeah.
I've been doing improv now officially for more than half my life.
Wow.
I just turned 37.
Yeah.
And I started when I was 18.
There you
when I
go.
was in college.
Uh-huh.
And it's like it's my life's calling is teaching improv and doing improv. And I the reason why is because I think the world would be a better. This is my corny moment.
I love it. Uh-huh.
The whole podcast might be a corny moment for me. But,
That's fine.
but basically, I do think the world would be a better place if everyone had the opportunity to take a well-taught improv class, even if it was just a drop-in class,
Uh-huh.
I think it makes folks more curious, courageous, kind,
Uh-huh.
And so my whole thing has just been, I grew up in Miami. I'm Latino. My dad's from Cuba. My mom's from Panama. I grew up in a very Latino city,
Yeah.
and in Chicago, there's actually a lot of Latinos here.
Yeah, big time. Big population.
A third of the city is Latino.
Is it 1 in 3?
1 in 3.
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely.
That's the stat I throw out all the time, 1 in 3. But, like in these classes that I've taught, in a class of 15, there maybe is 1,
Sure.
And that's the consistent experience I've had over time. And this is an art form, improv, that all you need is just like a room and some chairs and a person who knows some games and some exercises. Like,
Yeah.
we're not talking about like a hockey that requires, what is it, $500 of equipment,
Dude,
and ice rink. And
seriously.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Point is, we should make this accessible. Improv should be accessible
Wow,
for
that's
as many people
That's
as
a great
possible.
point. Yeah.
Because I think it just has a lot of benefits for people. Just for some context, like I always grew up understanding Spanish, but always feeling a little bit of insecurity with speaking Spanish.
Okay, gotcha. When you're in the house, was it mostly English or just a little bit of both?
It was both. It depended on who was there, So like if we had family over, like it's very, like if it's Christmas or if it's Thanksgiving or something,
Sure.
it's all Spanish, Or if my dad's on the phone, it's in Spanish, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I grew up, I don't know how much you know about like Cuban Spanish.
A little bit, but not. I'd love to know more.
It's notorious for being like very fast, very loud, and very like a lot of contractions,
Okay.
A lot of slang. And long story short, it's a very hard version of Spanish to speak.
Gotcha.
And I grew up in a family where it was kind of like you get ribbed a lot if your Spanish wasn't perfect. And then,
Yeah, yeah.
growing up as a teenager, I was like, man, you know what? Forget it.
You said,
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm good, actually, as a teenager does, right? But then
Right.
as I got older, I was like, am I really going to go my whole life like not feeling confident about my Spanish?
Yeah.
And so during the pandemic, I had all this time and I just started working basically with an online tutor to learn Spanish, to like really like get down, like take 2-3 classes a week and like
Wow.
immerse myself, like change my phone settings to Spanish. So all my apps are in Spanish,
That's what it takes, right? I mean, you really got to dig in.
it takes like the textbook learning, but then it also takes the practicing. And so what I did was I started to produce variety shows in Spanish, in Spanglish. So I forced myself to go on stage and host a variety show at Logan Square Improv called La Hora de Antojitos, which always ends every night with bilingual improv. And then we'd have like bilingual poetry and bilingual, stand up and whatever that kind of stuff to bring in a Latino audience into Logan Square Improv, an improv theater, right? That they maybe have not been to before.
Right.
Never thought it was for them. And then show them improv, but in Spanglish and Spanish.
Yes.
And a common thing I've seen is that with Latinos, they maybe have seen an improv show, but when they feel like they don't see themselves represented on stage or their life experience represented on stage, they go, that's not for me. When in reality, I think Latino people are hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Like naturally hilarious,
Yeah.
And natural improvisers, like there's so many friends that I've had where like growing up, like their parents don't speak English. So at a very young age, they're like at 8 years old, picking up the phone, talking to Comcast, pretending to be an adult, pretending to be their parents.
Right.
In English and then translating back to their mom in Spanish.
Hey, Mom.
Exactly.
She says she doesn't have to pay that bill because they
exactly.
Listen, the power was out that day.
Or pretending to be their mom as an 8-year-old, So like that's just life, and so I just think that there's a huge opportunity to like introduce, this art form that I love so much, that I know you love so much.
I do.
To a third of the population of Chicago. Chicago is the mecca of improv worldwide. This is where improvisation started, and people come from all over the world to come do summer intensives and take classes and see shows. Just the other day at Second City, I saw a whole group from Japan that came and watched a show that I was understudying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yet there is no other place besides Bilingual Improv School where you could take an improv class in Spanglish or Spanish.
Incredible. Yeah.
There's so many improv theaters in this city. There's not a single one besides Bilingual Improv School where you can take a class in Spanglish or Spanish.
Yeah. So it was about time.
So that was it,
Yeah.
And basically the idea of the school came from, I was producing this show. People were enjoying it and they kept asking me like, do you teach class? And then I kept pointing them to like, I do teach class at CIC at Logan Square Improv. But if you want to like do it bilingually, there's not a place right now.
Yeah.
And then eventually I just started to do drop-in classes, bilingual drop-in classes. I started that about a year ago out of like Logan Square Improv, Home Comedy Theater, places like that, taking it to the south side, back of the yards, Pilsen, Little Village.
Yeah.
And we found a home in Humboldt Park at a place called Collaboration Theater. And so
that's along the 606.
It's right on the 606 in Kimball.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. In the Kimball Arts Center. And it's a beautiful brand new space. It's like, you got to go. It's like a black box theater, like tons of really great, like lighting equipment and it's really nice over there. And basically, now we're at, a level 1, level 2, and in a month we're going to start a level 3 class. We do monthly student showcases. So every class comes with 2 student showcase opportunities. And then we do every other week a bilingual drop-in class, 2 hours, $20, no experience necessary, all fluency levels welcome, whether you're a native Spanish speaker or whether you're literally just beginning your Spanish speaking journey. We develop these improv games to allow everyone to be able to do improv together, to participate. And yeah, that's what we're doing.
And I've seen I follow the school on Instagram at Bilingual Improv School, and you asked some of the students that did drop in classes for their reactions, and I saw a couple different reactions. One was a native Spanish speaker who was like, "Man, it was just so nice. Like I felt like we flowed so nicely, comedically in Espanol, and it just felt really nice and comfortable up there." And then was from someone who was trying to pick up Spanish, and she said, I've got anxiety when I want to practice my Spanish in real life, but maybe you don't want to be that guy at the restaurant who's bothering the waiter. But with
By the way,
with
I've
your
been that
Spanglish.
guy.
Okay, yeah, right.
I've been that guy.
So this is like a easy place to go and practice your Spanish in real life and in real life scenes and with no judgment and just go in there, and if you don't get the word exactly correct or the pronunciation, it's a good place to practice it in real life, because the only way to really learn it is to speak it.
Absolutely. I think it's like we're bringing improv back to its roots. I don't know. At the beginning, a lot of people point to the origins of improv, to the work of Viola Spolin, right, who is a social worker at Whole House in Chicago, which is now the campus of UIC.
Sure.
And what she did was she developed these theater games with basically immigrant children from Europe. So think like, Italy and Poland and all these other places, right? So these kids were, just trying to learn English, right? And they spoke whatever language they spoke at home.
Yeah.
Their parents were working in factories and that kind of stuff, right? They came into this Whole House place, and they did games that were focused on nonverbal communication.
Yeah.
Right. And learning words and phrases through improv games.
Sure.
And it turns out that, in our spaces, when there is a bit of like a language gap between the players, right? What do they have to lean on more? The nonverbal communication,
Wow.
which happens to be what is most important in improv anyway.
Yeah.
Just to do a good improv scene,
Yeah. Wow.
So it's like feels like a pretty nice, combination.
Sure. And with the drop-in classes, I'm sure people have they come up to you afterwards. They are. I mean, it's got to be a good feeling to see somebody who's like really excited about it after a class.
Absolutely. I think the thing that for about a year I was only doing drop-in classes.
Okay.
With the express, like we're saying, anybody could come, no experience, all fluency levels welcome, and 2 hours.
Sure.
And so I did that for a year,
Yeah.
and I learned a lot along the way on how to establish an environment, where someone could come off the street, maybe never seen improv or heard of improv, never even performed anything ever, deathly afraid of even any public speaking.
Sure.
And then in a 2 hour period, watch them, right? Like get confident, get their first laugh. And like, I'm addicted to that feeling, watching somebody come out of their shell.
Yeah.
Right. And make friends,
nice.
it's
right.
It's honestly selfishly for me, like just like an amazing, experience.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. And so if people are interested in signing up for a full a term or drop-in classes, where's the best place to go? The website? Or?
Yeah. Bilingualimprovschool.com. And there's always something going on in a week or two. So like this Monday is our next drop-in class.
Yeah.
Our next 8-week session is going to be in about 3 weeks. Our next student showcase is going to be on the 29th. And pretty much all the time we're going to have something like that.
Yeah. And I took 7 years of Spanish, and unfortunately, whatever brain damage I've done to myself at the bars since then, I haven't retained a ton of it, but I also haven't put it into practice. But I feel like if I started for 8 weeks, if I popped in and was speaking Spanish for 3 hours, some of those lights, some of those things might wake up inside my brain and be like, oh.
Absolutely. I've seen it. So we're in our first level 2 class. So we have some students that started like with us maybe like 3-4 months ago. And from day one to today, like it's crazy to watch like how much, our whole program's 6 months. Right.
Yeah.
And if you pair our classes with just like some kind of, like tutoring or some kind of
classroom,
YouTube videos or just any
Duolingo
kind of
or something,
and give yourself that weekly. I view us like the gym, like, do 10 reps of whatever.
Yes.
If you do that every week for 6 weeks, 12 weeks,
you're
probably going to see some progress, and that's what I've seen. And so, I would be thrilled to have you in class. That would make me so happy to see.
I think I have to, and I haven't taken the bilingual classes yet, but I did take CIC, as you said, with the intro to, and you're a terrific teacher.
Thank you.
You just make everybody feel welcome and comfortable and feel like they're on the right track. I
appreciate that,
as they figure it out. Oh yeah, can't recommend Rudy enough. So you've been in Chicago 12 years.
Yeah.
What was it? Comedy that brought you to Chicago?
What I tend to tell people is my friends brought me to Chicago.
Okay.
I think it's I started doing improv when I was 18. I started doing improv in college, and I went to the University of Florida, and there's an improv group there, or an improv club there called Theater Strike Force.
All right.
And it's an enormous organization. We're talking a lot about like a club of like 250 improvisers.
Sure.
And so in that 4 years, by the time I graduated, like I had like 40 friends here,
Sure.
like
They
just in the
start
improv
coming-
scene,
Yep. Yeah.
and I would visit. I didn't move to Chicago immediately. So I visited. And every time I visited, granted, it was in the summertime most of the time.
This is the best time to come.
I had the best time ever. I was like,
Is everybody always out at street fests? Oh yeah, absolutely, all the way through January. Yep.
That was definitely my perception of the city. This is the greatest city ever.
Yeah.
But I'm still here.
Yes,
and
you
I
are.
love it. And I love it more. It's the only place I've ever lived where I love it more every year that I've been here.
Yeah.
And Chicago's not a perfect city by any means.
Sure.
But I have to say that like I love how easy it is to make friends in this city.
About it.
Like this is a city that facilitates community.
Yeah.
We happen to know each other from the improv community.
Right.
But I know you're involved in other communities outside of improv.
Yeah.
And I have too. Like I've been a part of like running clubs in the city. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whatever niche thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole infrastructure for it.
Right. You can find it, and you'll find people with common interests, and then you become bonded.
And this work that I'm doing with Bilingual Improv School ultimately is informed by watching just other people be really good facilitators, organizers of community, which I've just learned like from my years of being here, and I grew up in Miami and I love Miami. I'm like so proud to be from Miami.
Sure.
But it's like a stark contrast to Chicago, not just in the superficial things of weather and stuff like that, but also just it's a very individualistic place.
Right.
And Chicago's very community focused. And so I think that's what's drawn me to the city and kept me here for as long as it has.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned that you truly feel like teaching improv is your calling, and that's and it rings true because I know you also. I mean, you travel around the country.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you telling me a story going to California to teach kids improv. And I asked you about it afterwards, and you said they really wanted to know all about Chief Keef
And O Block, yeah. That's all they wanted to know about.
They just wanted to know about O Block.
I said, don't worry about Chief Keef, man. Don't worry about O Block. Let's do some zip, zap, zap.
Yeah, exactly. Let's concentrate on the improv games.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I'm sure it's fun teaching the kids to teach them improv.
I will say, I will say it's actually the hardest improv to teach.
Just because of the focus, like there. Yeah,
We're living in a weird time.
Yeah,
especially for kids.
Sure.
Especially like middle school to the high school age kids. So in Chicago, Bilingual Improv School is blessed to work with an organization called Embark, which is a nonprofit organization that basically facilitates high school experiences, think field trips, around the city for CPS high schools on the south and west side.
Gotcha.
So what they do is they charter the bus, they pay the vendor, they send the bus of like 30 to 40 students to the location. It's usually like, the museum or the zoo or a small business to just see like how they operate and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They experience it for about 2 hours, get lunch, go back to school.
Yeah.
We did our first one like a month ago where we facilitated a bilingual improv workshop.
Okay.
And we're going to do 2 more in the coming weeks.
Cool.
And so we're part of the rotation. It's amazing. The first time I taught this program, they came to Collaboration like on a Wednesday at like 10 a.m.
Sure.
It was 40 juniors from a Tilden high school.
All right.
And man, like there's just so much going on. Just within the social group, nobody wants to look foolish. Yeah,
totally.
Everybody wants to look cool. That's a standard teenager thing.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, you don't want to stick your neck out and do something goofy or cry on stage or something, and then risk getting made fun of by your buddies.
But not to go dark. But like another thing is, these kids like and I can only imagine what it's like to be a high schooler now.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But it's sort of like the vibe is sort of like nothing matters.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. And like there were like it was a class of 40 kids, maybe like 12 of them. When they sat down at the beginning, they did not get out of their seat for the entire 2 hours.
Yeah. Sure.
It was like, you know, it was the students, it was like the teachers, it was the chaperones.
Yeah.
And just getting like everyone in a circle what took like 20 minutes. I'm not even exaggerating. It was like, all right, everybody, let's get in a circle. And then like the chaperones being like, come on, get up, get in there for like 20 minutes, man. It was brutal.
Hey, but I bet there are a few kids there that you really got to
Yes.
do, and that's all that matters
Yes.
at the end of the day.
So we played some improv games. You know, I'm learning too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know how to teach adults.
Sure.
Teaching children or teaching high schoolers, you know, even teaching middle
challenge.
school element, it's a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things that I learned that really hit was we played certain improv games. We played a game called Principal's Office.
Yeah.
And it's a guessing game.
Okay.
We have a volunteer who goes outside, and the idea is that person just pulled a prank. And they're being called into the principal's office.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to deny
Okay.
what it is. But the improviser is going to try to guess.
Sure.
Who the prank they pulled was on, where it happened, and what it was.
Excellent.
Right?
Right.
So what we were able to do that was cool was we actually had a teacher be a kid.
Okay.
And go outside and be the guesser.
That's a good way to do it.
And bring the students to be the principal and vice principal.
Fun.
To basically
role reversal.
role reversal,
Yeah.
you know, and that was a hit. That was like, I had that one way too like long into the lineup. I should have had that be like the first thing we did.
Just play that the whole time. They'll do that.
They'll do that exactly.
Straight down